Why do people hate so much on Jordan Peterson? Alright, where's the H3 fans? Having listened to Jordan for a while, I feel in his early days he focused more on psychology, and that really helped me to listen to his lectures. Lately his focus has switched to politics and criticism of other political positions. It is with this switch that he lost me. My dude went from building people up to tearing people down. I don't think that healthy or helpful. He uses a lot of $10 words which impress people who are already inclined to agree with him. And he makes in a way that's often quite difficult to comprehend. Much less counter. E.g., the other day he was having a debate on a British TV show called Question Time, making a point about institutional racism. He made a point how it didn't exist. But before he did that he used giant air quotes around the term, racism, causing the others on the panel to accuse him of saying racism wasn't real. They then got into a pointless discussion where they forcefully made the point that racism exists. And he said, yes, of course racism exists, but it's nebulously defined, before the host eventually moved the show on without ever properly addressing his point about institutional racism. He comes out of it looking like the smartest guy in the room, and his point goes largely unchallenged. If you disagree with him, you can see why this would be frustrating. Not a Peterson fan, but asking Reddit about Jordan Peterson is like asking 4chan about Jewish people. You know what you're in for. Look up his debate with Slavoj Žižek. He prepared for a debate on Marxist thought by skimming the Communist Manifesto, an introductory work in Marxism. The debate did not go well as Peterson was incredibly underprepared in comparison to Žižek. Žižek even touts religion theology, a supposed strong suit of Peterson. I'm a psychologist as well. He uses some data to base his viewpoints but straight up distorts the conclusions on it, especially when he starts to talk about big problems and society. He also shouldn't be using religion or jung so much when using a scientific discourse. His stance on personal responsibility and self-reflection is alright though. Nothing new. As a scientist, he is bad. As a self-help guru, he is nothing new. Nowadays he has been leaning to more weird shit like challenging vaccines or global warming. He believes he is right. He is just not. Sometimes. He is genuinely interested in helping though, and has helped many people in ways that society couldn't, especially reaching out to teenagers and young men that are really lost, and somehow he connected to them. It's good. They have been vilified for too long, and he reached out to them. It's good that they get some help. God knows nobody is willing to be compassionate for them. All in all, he is as good as he is bad. But he should stay away from speaking about science and data. He falls into pseudoscience and fallacy too fast when he opens his mouth. Dude literally on video talking about how men are worried they're losing their masculinity as women enter more blue-collar job forces. Also said that the reason humans evolved into upright intelligent creatures is due to women withholding sex from men. Reading a few comments here regarding the aspects of JP's philosophy that focus on finding meaning and happiness through consistent work and personal responsibility. It's worth mentioning that a lot of these points have been more effectively fleshed out and focus more on the individual than the concept of masculinity. I would recommend Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, The Discourses of Epictetus, and How to Be a Stoic by Massimo Pigliucci for a more modern perspective. You could also check out Stoicism for some of the ideas and advice being discussed there. I think this material is a great substitute to JP for alienated men and individuals of all genders seeking a sense of purpose. For me, it's the community that follows him. Just extreme negativity. Owning the libs, slamming woke culture, pushing back against the feminazis, whatever. It is wonderful to pursue meaning and improvement in your life. Somehow that message has been lost. At least with the vocal, hopefully, minority. Seems to be being the operative phrase here. I'm a woman, and as such he doesn't speak to me. But I find he has a strong conservative and religious bent that doesn't sit right with me. And he sounds like Kermit the Frog. I thought he was smart until I saw his Joe Rogan interview where he talks about young men not getting sex or something. His argument was basically incel logic, which was enough for me to see he's retarded. His argument, without using the word chads, was that there are so many young, frustrated men in the US now because chads get all the women and none are left for the rest of the men. The dude puts conservative ideals in an intellectual self-help framework. It's propaganda that catches vulnerable teenagers and people who don't like those conservative ideals are rightfully angry at that. In his area of expertise, I'm pretty sure he's fine and the guy isn't evil like some people say, but he's not some unparalleled genius either. I find his points on topics in which he doesn't specialize invalid, but maybe lacking in elaboration for the amount of confidence with which he speaks. Jordan's a clinical psychologist according to his academic site, which makes me want to listen to some of his psychology or philosophy of thought belief lectures. It's on other issues where I wish I had expertise to thoroughly analyze his arguments. I'm not an expert in anything, so I can't really unpack anything he says. I feel that he speaks to environmentalism as a foregone conclusion of irreparable, damaging practices, which feels valid to the extent that the environment is damaged. However, his emphasis on the permanency of climate change and its causes seems lacking in clarity. And it could be because I'm a confused person. Or maybe it's because he's underqualified or a poor explainer. Either way, I had the privilege of learning environmental chemistry from an esteemed professor of the subject at his Jordan's University, U of T, and I obviously gained perspective from that class that is not available from Jordan Peterson. I don't feel hatred for him. I guess this answer doesn't help. He regularly pushes literal Nazi rhetoric called cultural Marxism, which is a derivative of cultural Bolshevism, which is propaganda the Nazis invented. According to philosopher Slavoj Žižek, the term cultural Marxism plays the same structural role as that of the Jewish plot in antisemitism. It projects, or rather, transposes, the immanent antagonism of our socio-economic life onto an external cause. What the conservative alt-right deplores as the ethical disintegration of our lives. Feminism, attacks on patriarchy, political correctness, etc., must have an external cause. Because it cannot, for them, emerge out of the antagonisms and tensions of our own societies. The dude thinks women wearing lipstick in the workplace is hypocritical if they don't want to get sexually assaulted because women only wear makeup to draw sexual attention. No other reasons at all. Also, he's not as profound as he or others market him to be. Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl is my favorite book, and Jordan Peterson and Dennis Prager are currently abusing its text for political reasons. Existentialism is not conservative, liberal, religious or anti-religious. So, to answer the question, Jordan Peterson offers nothing new and has poorly referenced great works. which is why I don't care for his videos. If it's not his conservative politics, it's his self-righteous attitude. While I'm seeing a lot of honest criticism, which is fair, one thing you can do is watch his interview with Kathy Newman and realize that a lot of people do exactly what she did. And that's why they hate him so much. He tells incels to clean their rooms and make their beds because when their mommies tell them to do it, it makes them feel emasculated.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.